So, along with a lot of wrestling news that came out where people were talking about certain things, even myself, because I've done a few videos that I will upload when I get home because I recorded them on my GoPro in 4K. Along with some of those news items, one of the more biggest talking points, if you will, that people were discussing was the interview that the former Ember Moon, Athena, did with Chris Van Pelt. Or Van Vliet, I should say, Chris Van Vliet. And how in the interview, when they talked about her time in WWE, her time, in NXT, as well as part of NXT 2.0 to an extent, as well as her final months, or final days, if you will, Athena did not hold nothing back. She basically, as a lot of people put it, eviscerated WWE creative. Because the long gist of it is she felt she was betrayed. She was lied to. That when Hunter lost his power, and then he suddenly disappeared from sight because, of course, medical reasons, she started to see the writing on the wall. Like, she was willing to work with whatever they gave her. Heck, she even thought at one point they were going to finally let her go heel. Do the storyline of, hey, she's going on a loser streak. That's going to turn her heel. She's going to revert back to the old Ember, but it's going to be a heelish Ember. None of that happened. Because she said just when it looked like it was about to happen, the following week they're like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Basically, she just called them out for not knowing what they were doing. But also the fact for basically making a lot of the women feel like they had a standard to live up to. And that standard wasn't the standard put out there by the likes of Sasha, Becky, Bayley, Charlotte, Asuka, you name it. No. The standard was to dress and act sexy like Mandy Rose. And she, along with some of the other women that were part of these fashion meetings, fashion consultant meetings, as they were described as, were not keen on it. They did not like it. And it got to a point finally where she was like, look, if you don't have nothing for me, I'm not going to come to work. I'm going to stay home. You can cancel my flights, cancel any hotel reservations you have for me. I'm not coming. And she even went as far as to say that she had to pull the one card you're not supposed to pull. And that is, if you have something creative for me, set up, let me see it so I can approve it. In other words, she said, look, if you got plans for me, that's great, but let me look at those plans first before we do them and see whether or not I'm cool with it. She got to that point. And when you listen to what she says in that interview, especially with that, when they talk about the final months and days and whatever, or you read the transcript, you can understand her frustration. You can understand where she's coming from. Because, it's one thing to, at one point in your career, be given the world, basically be told by the person that brought you in that you're going to be the future of the women's, you're going to be a featured component of the women's revolution and stuff, and then all of a sudden have that all taken away from you. And not only have that all taken away from you, but given a vignette that, hey, you're coming back, given a special kind of entrance to syndicate or indicate your return to action, part of NXT again, in NXT 2.0, but then have everything just pulled out from under you. You can't blame Athena for feeling the way she did. And one could assume that once this interview gets out, and mostly this segment where she talked about her final days, as I took my time here, her final days in WWE, in NXT, if you will, NXT 2.0, as well as I do, that this gets out enough. This gets tweeted, retweeted, shared, enough across the board. It will get WWE's attention, and it will get the attention of, let's say, a Stephanie McMahon. It will get the attention of maybe a Vince, maybe a Nick Khan, and mostly Stephanie, I think, who has a little bit more power than Nick, she'll look at this and you can't tell me she won't say something. She won't take someone like Bruce aside or Laurinaitis aside and say, how dare you? You can't tell me she won't do that, because she will. She will absolutely do that. She will be absolutely, in their face for what they pulled, according to what Athena said. And many others she could probably talk to back that up. So if this, like I said, if this gets out enough to the point that even someone like Stephanie McMahon hears what Athena is saying, hears her emotion, sees her tearing up, or hears that she teared up, and it gets out to someone like her, you can't tell me she's not going to pull someone like Bruce Pritchard aside, John Laurinaitis aside, pull her power play card and say, you guys ain't pulling this crap. This isn't the past, this isn't the attitude era, this is aggression, all that. This is now, and we're going to focus on the now. You can't tell me she won't do that, because she will. She absolutely will. But, yeah. From what I've heard people read off with the transcript, from what I've heard described and everything, I don't blame Athena for being upset. I don't blame her. And if she does go to AEW, great for her, but right now, we'll see what they do. We'll see what she does. I mean, she already has had some, from what I understand, some great post-WWE matches with the likes of Thunder Rosa and such on the independent scene. So we'll see where she goes from there, or from here. She might go to Stardom. That would be a great place to go. She might go to Impact. We'll see. She might even just decide to take a break for a while. We'll see. But I recommend reading the transcript, especially that part. I recommend watching that one clip from the interview, and you'll definitely probably agree that, yeah, Athena, she held nothing back, and that this might be something that eventually, if not sooner than later, will come back and bite WWE on the rear, and it may get the attention of a Stephanie McMahon to do so. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. My bus is about to get here, and I will talk to y'all later.